Alright, so before we get into the video, I just want to show you guys something real quick. 96% of you guys are not subscribed, and that is
no bueno.
If you do see this video and you keep seeing me in your recommendations, you know, like the featured or whatever, make sure you hit that subscribe button because it only takes 2 seconds and it does help motivate me to make more videos for you guys because I truly do like making videos. But let's get into the video. Last but not least, the last part 4 of the grading and recapping every team's offseason so far. You know, if you've seen the other 3 videos, you know exactly what we're getting into. But today's video is, of course, the last, segment is the NFC and the AFC West. Yeah, let's get into it because you already know what's going on. The first team we're going to be talking about is the San Francisco 49ers, of course, the NFC champions from last year. The team's really good. But their main additions are so far is Malik Collins, Leonard Floyd, Yatir Gross-Matos, Jordan Elliott, and Josh Dobbs. And their main subtractions were Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Sam Darnold, Javon Kinlaw, Ray McLeod, Randy Gregory, and Sebastian Joseph. Now, they're about $7 million under the cap right now, and it seems like they did lose a lot of good players on defense, but I think that their main additions like Malik Collins and Leonard Floyd are really good players. They added to the offseason this year, or added to the defense this year. My grade for them is a B+. Now, I really do like where the 49ers are at. You know, they got a couple really good years left. This is basically like a win-now mode for them before the huge extension for Brock Purdy probably in a couple of years. But their offseason grade right now is definitely a B+. Moving on to the Seattle Seahawks, they had a lot of coaching changes with, the head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. Their new head coach is Mike McDonald. Their offensive coordinator is Ryan Grubb, and their defensive coordinator is Aiden Durd. Aiden Durd. I don't know how to say his name. I'm terrible with names. But their main additions are Sam Howell, Rashawn Jenkins, George Fant, Jerome Baker, and Tyrell Dodson, and their main subtractions were Damian Lewis, Jordan Brooks, Kobe Parkinson, Will Dissly, Bobby Wagner, Drew Lock, DJ Dallas, and Jamal Adams. Now, the Seahawks are about $2 million under the cap, and they definitely released a lot of players on defense. I think, Quandre Diggs is also another one. And they did get Jerome Baker, a better middle linebacker, but they lost a lot of people on defense. They ended up re-signing Leonard Williams, so that was a good little move by them. But I think that they were smart by just letting go of these older players, trying to get prepped up for the future. So I give their grade a C+. They definitely need a target defense in the draft, though. The Arizona Cardinals actually sneakily had a pretty good offseason so far. Their main additions were Desmond Ridder, which, Justin Jones, Jonah Williams, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Bilal Nichols, and Mac Wilson, DJ Dallas, I forgot to add him. But their main losses were Rondale Moore and Hollywood Brown. Now, they're about $29 million under the cap. They definitely improved their defense because their defense last year was definitely top 5 worst in the NFL. They still have an okay offense. They definitely do need weapons if Kyler Murray can stay healthy. But, with their number 4 pick this year, I do see them drafting probably a wide receiver. It could be freaking Marvin Harrison or whatever. But I give their offseason grade right now a B-. Their team still has a lot of holes, but they definitely revamped their defense a little bit, and I do like what they did. The last NFC East team is the Los Angeles Rams. The only coaching changes they had was the defensive coordinator. Now they got Chris Shula, and they replaced him. They replaced Raheem Morris. Their main additions were Jonah Jackson, Darius Williams, Kobe Parkinson, Cameron Curl, and Trey White. Oh, and Jimmy G. I keep forgetting the last player. But their big losses, especially with Aaron Donald, that is a huge loss. But the only other losses are Aaron Donald again. Carson Wentz, Jordan Foyer, and Coleman Shelton. Now, they're about $15 million under the cap, and I think their secondary did improve by adding Cameron Curl, but now they gotta really need defensive line help, especially with Aaron Donald leave, because that is a huge blow. I do think that their offense did get better. They upgraded their offensive line, which is definitely one of their weaknesses last year. I give their offseason grade a B. If they can go in this draft and really kill it in the defensive part, I think their team is gonna be really good again next year. Moving on to the AFC West, the first team we're gonna be talking about is the Denver Broncos, and they have relatively quiet offseason, if I had to be honest. Their main additions were Brandon Jones, but they got Josh Reynolds and Malcolm Roach. And of course, their main subtractions were Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Simmons, Lloyd Cushenberry, and Josie Jewell. They're about $18 million under the cap right now, and their main concern is finding their quarterback because Jarrett Stidham is not the answer. And they've had a weird offseason so far, honestly. They definitely downgraded their wide receivers, but if I I feel like they had a small upgrade maybe over, with their safety. Well, not a good small upgrade, but they had a good replacement to replace Justin Simmons. I give their off grades C minus because the whole plan with Russell Wilson just completely fell apart. They ate a lot of dead money, which was just atrocious this year. It was like $50 million this year in dead money or something like that. But they're looking definitely for the future, and we don't know what they're going to do with the draft this year. They should draft a quarterback. We'll see who falls to them, or if they trade up, whatever. So I give the Broncos a C minus. The Las Vegas Raiders are the next team. Their main coaching changes was the offensive coordinator. Now they got Luke Getsy, and they actually changed their GM. Now they got Tom Telesco. Their main additions, of course, were Christian Wilkins, one of the biggest free agent signings this offseason, Gardner Minshew, Harrison Bryant, and Alexander Madison. But their main losses were Josh Jacobs, Bilal Nichols, Jermaine Illuminar, Amik Robertson, and Jimmy Garoppolo. Their main losses, Josh Jacobs is a big blow, honestly. But they're about $25 million under the cap, so they're good with the cap situation for the next couple of years, but they should be. I definitely do think that the D-line definitely improved by adding Christian Wilkins. Their freaking Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby is going to be an absolute nasty combo next year. Oh, and now that I remember, they actually just released Hunter Renfrow not too long ago. So their offense definitely needs more weapons. Devontae Adams is getting older, but besides that, I can't even name their number 2 wide receiver. I give their offseason grade a B minus, and like I said, their defense definitely improved, but they need offensive weapons really bad. And Gardner Minshew, I think, might be the actual quarterback next year, or unless they draft one. Who knows what they're doing in the draft, but I give the Raiders a B minus. The Los Angeles Chargers are the next team, and now they also had a lot of changes, especially in the coaching. Their new head coach is Jim Harbaugh. Their new GM is Joe Hortis. Offensive coordinator is Greg Roman, and defensive coordinator is Jesse Minter. And now they only got 2 main additions, which was Will Dissly and Gus Edwards. Now they got a lot of losses, like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, Austin Eckler, Kenneth Murray, and Austin Johnson. And now they're about $31 million under the cap. And, I really like what they did with the coaches. I think that, Jim Harbaugh is a really good coach. A lot better than the other one. I can't think of his name, of course, off the top of my head. But, I like what they did with the coaches. But they're, otherwise, with the players, losing Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, that trade with the Bears was really bad in my opinion. Even though he's an older wide receiver. But a 4th, that's it. Ooh-wee. I give the Chargers a C minus. I feel like, they kind of did good by offloading a lot of money, but it's who are they going to be throwing to next year? Quinton Jefferson, and he did not do good too good last year. So I give the Chargers a C minus only because their coaching transactions were actually pretty good. And of course, I had to save the best for last, the Super Bowl winners for the 2 straight years, the Kansas City Chiefs. And now their offseason was relatively quiet, but they don't really need to do anything because their team's already pretty good as it is. They actually added Hollywood Brown, Carson Wentz, and Irv Smith. But their main loss was L'Jarius Sneed, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Willie Gay, Mike Edwards, and Nick Allegretti. Now, they're about $24 million under the cap, but we all know that their main concern was re-signing Chris Jones, and they definitely did by signing him a fat bag. But basically, they kind of kept everyone together. Like I said, they lost a couple of smaller pieces, I guess, but, their team's still really good. They got Hollywood Brown now to replace Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I give their offseason grade an A+. I don't care if it's a lot of minor moves. Their team's still really good, and, no one else can really say anything about them because they know exactly what they're doing. But that wraps up this mini little series. If you do like it, hit that like button, comment down below your biggest reaction towards the AFC and the NFC West teams. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little series I got, because I really did like making it. So I'm out of here. Deuces.